So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to get your IRS transcript. And you may need a transcript for various reasons. One, you need a list of all the estimated tax payments you made. You just want to see if your tax return was filed and accepted. Also, another scenario could be that the previous tax preparer just has not responded, has lost your tax return, or if you lost your own copy of your tax return. If any of these scenarios are applicable to you, I'm going to be showing you how to walk through, how to get this information through the IRS website, which is actually pretty helpful. And with that said, let's jump in. So here I am on the irs.gov website, and one thing to note, make sure it's .gov. There's a lot of scamming websites out there, so the last thing you want to do is go to the wrong website. Make sure it's an official website of the United States government, and you have that .gov. Now that we got that out of the way, what you're going to do is go ahead and just sign into your account, which is this option right here. So I'm going to click on sign into your account. Then you'll be given three options: individual, business, and tax professional. For the purpose of this video, we're going to focus on individual. So you're going to go ahead and click on sign in to online account. If you do not have an online account, it's your first time, it says right here at the bottom, get started. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in because I already have an account. And the IRS uses ID.me to go ahead and just verify, make sure everything's secure. And so what I'm going to do now is log into my signin.me, and then we'll get to the home page. So this is the dashboard. This is the home page of once you log into your account. As you see at the top, there's various options. What we're going to do is walk one by one to understand what's the purpose. So here's the account home. Pretty much just going to say any like pending payments or account statuses. Anything that may trigger something that requires your attention will show up on the account home page. Then we click on account balance. This will pretty much entail what tax liabilities that you perhaps owe, perhaps any payment plans, and all those details will be made here. And then they also have a make a payment option to the left. Then under payments, you have two options: payment options and payment activity. Payment options is going to be the how to make a payment, or if you need to set up a payment plan, all that good stuff is going to be noted here. And then your payment activity. And your payment activity has 4 different categories. If there's any pending or scheduled payments you've made within their portal, if you have any processed payments, this would be the activity for any estimated tax payments or any other tax liability payments you made when you're filing your tax return. I won't show you now the activity because that's obviously my personal information. You have canceled payments and then return payments. So all this information is pretty important. Anytime you have any questions on whether I don't remember my estimated payments, I don't remember if I paid my taxes, this is where you'll go under the payments payment activity tab. Next, you have records and statuses, and you have 3 options. One is the tax records, the audit status, and the refund status. So let's go through them one by one. Here we have the tax records, which is really the most important piece. So on the tax records tab is where you'll have the transcripts. So you want to click on view your transcripts, and then you'll have 4 options here. Let's go through them one by one. So number 1 is the account transcript. This is going to show you whether your tax return was filed, what date was it filed, any estimated tax payments, any amended returns. So it's really high level activity about your account. The next to the bottom left is wage and income transcripts. So this includes documents such as like W-2s that were filed with the IRS, 1098s, 1099s that were reported to the IRS. All that good stuff is going to be noted in wage income transcripts. So in the scenario where you may have misplaced your W-2s, you're behind on taxes, all those scenarios, wage and income transcripts are going to be a good starting point. I would still recommend getting the original documents from your employer or the company because it has more details, but this is a good start for your wage and income transcripts. The next section we have is return transcripts. In the return transcripts, it's going to give a high-level overview of your 1040. So what activity, what was your taxable income, what was your adjusted gross income, what dividends, interest, income that you incurred, did you use standard or itemized deductions? So it's like a breakdown at a high level, your 1040, page 1, page 2. So this is a good option when you are unable to retrieve copies of your previous tax returns. You're going to want to get a return transcript. It's pretty helpful, especially if you're getting a loan and they ask for copies of your previous tax returns. Usually the banks will accept return transcripts, and this is where you can get it right here. And then lastly, in the bottom right is a record of account transcripts, which is pretty much summarizing, or I should say consolidating, adding the 2 of account transcripts and return transcripts. So when you're going to your tax professional, I'm going to recommend providing them at least your record of account transcripts. Usually they don't need your wage and income unless you just misplace your W-2s, 1098s, 1099s, etc. Which in that scenario, I wouldn't send them right away. I would go back to the company, try to get the original documents. Trust me. The wage and income transcripts only shows the federal information, it doesn't show the state. And if you're in a state that has taxes, that's going to be a big deal. So for the purpose of filing your taxes, I would recommend getting a record of account transcripts And so that's, again, a combination of account transcripts, which will show any filings, estimated tax payments, and also the return transcripts from previous years in the event that you misplace your copy of your tax return or your previous tax preparer has ghosted you, retired, or else. Going back to the top, we have audit status. So God forbid you're in an audit. You can see, let's say you were selected for an audit, you can see the status and what's going on in your past audits here. And then the refund status. So a lot of common questions we get asked is, what's the status of our refund? You can check it yourself. It'll literally show you, literally tell you what's the status of your refund right here. Any notice and letters that you may have received in your personal name, if you have received any notice and letters directly to your business name, it will not show up here. This is specifically for personal and your individual name. So any notice and letters you receive will go here. Then you have the Forms tab, which is pretty much digital copies of all the IRS forms. Honestly, you could look at it if you like, go for it. It's a lot. And lastly, we have authorizations, which is like if you have given your tax professional power of attorney or authorization to get some intel on whatever the case may be. If you gave authorization to get tax return transcripts, whatever the case may be, it'll show you past power of attorneys and current ones, and you can also revoke any authorizations from here as well. And that's the IRS portal. I think it's very intuitive. A lot of people are sleeping on this. I think it's something that you should check at least annually, not just during tax time though, maybe semi-annually, I would say. Every 6 months, just because this is so important of everything that's going on. The last thing you want to do is, miss any payments or miss any notices that may have come. Maybe your tax professional, you trusted them to file your tax return. Then you get a notice that your tax return was never filed. You can always check the status of it here, your refund status, whatever the case may be. The IRS portal is actually very important because it has all these types of features and information and your past data. And with that said, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you to the next one. Take care.